Hey everyone, I'm glad you're here. Today, I'm really excited to nerd out about brakes. Girder front ends have a pretty colorful history when it comes to braking power. The earliest designs over 100 years ago actually used a stirrup type brake that's similar to what you would find on a bicycle today. As you can imagine, those weren't very effective, so they quickly evolved into the drum brake that was standard all the way up until the 30s when the girder was pretty much replaced by the telescopic fork. Girders did come back in the 60s and 70s thanks to chopper culture, but the cool thing then was to run no brakes at all. Today, I do want to put brakes on this bike because I like to stop. And not just any brakes, I want to put some modern dual disc brakes on this thing. But I didn't feel like huge calipers would fit the aesthetic of this bike. So I found these cute little guys that are actually the front calipers off of a Honda four-wheeler. Let's go down to the wheel and we'll talk about how we want to lay these out on the bike. I had a real tough time deciding what I wanted to do with these because there's a couple options and I kind of like all of them. I had to decide if I wanted them leading the forks or back here following the fork where it's a little bit more tucked behind, kind of gives it a more modern feel and it's a little bit cleaner maybe. So between the two, because I don't really like how in this orientation, I didn't like how the bleeder screw is just facing straight forward. Also, I mean, there is an argument to be made for this being a little bit less drag. So I think I'm gonna go this route. Now it's time to mount them, and the first step is to make the lower brackets, which I did off camera because they're basically the same process as the lower shock mounts I made in part 3. Now there's a few considerations we need to make when mounting custom brakes like this. You know, you don't want the caliper to just ride on the actual disc. You have to offset it just a hair like that because you don't want the disc brake to ride on those rods in there. The other thing I had to consider, and this is easy to miss, is the way that any caliper like this works that only has pistons on one side. It could be a single piston like this or a dual piston. They have these pins that the caliper has to be able to slide on, and that movement is what accounts for brake pad wear, so that as the piston moves out, it allows to center the caliper on the disc brake. So you want to make sure that you start with this compressed all the way. That gives you all this range of motion. Let me show you the problem I ran into when I just tried to use a straight one. So everything looks pretty good. The only concern here is that my bracket is pretty close to the edge of the spacer, which I'm welding it to. See that little seam right there? The solution for that is to bend a jog in this bracket a little bit. Let's go bend this up and see what it turns into. With that all bent, let's see if it's gonna work. So get the caliper where I want it. Okay, so now it's exactly what you wanna see. Nice and in the middle, symmetrical, and plenty of clearance for those button heads. I'm really happy with that. So I'll go bend the other one to make a copy of this, and then let's tack weld this in so it'll hold it. Then we can start machining the upper mount. I just finished bending the second one, and you can see here that they follow very close to the same profile. Now I'm just gonna get them cleaned up, bevel them, and then weld them on. It's worth mentioning real quick, if you don't have a belt sander or anything like that, you can do all this chamfering and everything with an angle grinder too, like I'm about to have to, because some of these bends I can't get in there with the belt sander, so I'm just gonna do it by hand. If you're careful with that, it takes a little bit of practice, but you can end up getting a pretty similar chamfer this way. Okay, so I'm about ready to tack weld this bracket into place, but I just wanted to show you how I got this thing set up since I don't have anyone in the shop to help hold stuff, so I'm just having to figure out how to jig this up myself. So what I did is hooked up this master cylinder, which I will squeeze with this zip tie. So that's gonna keep pressure on the caliper and make sure that it stays true to the rotor. And then I just put this little piece of steel in here to keep that bracket spaced away from the rotor. So with all of that set up, I'm ready to lock this down and start tack welding on my spacer in there. Okay, now with everything tightened up and I took the weight off the wheels, so now let's see if it spins smoothly. That is exactly what I want to hear. I love it. Now I'm going to go over to my lathe and start machining the upper bracket. I love any chance I get to play with my South Bend lathe. There's just something really cool about making something from over 100 years ago on a machine that's from around the same era. So what I'm about to do is chuck this round stock up in a collet and I'm gonna bore it out for an 8mm bolt and then step the bore so that the bolt can sit flush in the face of it, which I think will look pretty clean. Then I'll take a hair off the length of it just to give it a fresh edge, and I'll cut it and then make another one exactly the same. Well, there we have it. I had so much fun machining these. Now I'll show you how I'm gonna get these on the bike. Now what I need to do is attach this to the fork itself. But it's not as simple as just sliding it up and welding it right there, because it's just barely touching the fork and it wouldn't be very strong. So what I'm gonna do is carefully grind out the fork so that this will fit into it more, which will help suck the caliper up towards the fork a little bit and also allow me to make a much stronger weld here. So yeah, I'm gonna get grinding. Okay, so I just need to make sure that it is on the same plane as the axle holder down there, so that's looking pretty close. I'm gonna put it all back together and see how close I am. Wow, I mean, shoot, I think I'm ready to weld that. So I got the legs off and I locked them down while I weld our shock bracket here. And it just happens that this washer is exactly, let me show you, is exactly the thickness that needs to be to keep this flush. So that's good. And then I'm just gonna take a clamp and pin it down on top of this to help hold that down. And then I'm gonna start welding. Well, I was just getting into welding and my foot pedal gave up. I could tell it had a short for a while, and I would have to hold the wire at a certain angle to make it work, so I'm not surprised. But anyway, I was just having a little look at it to see, and sure enough, this wire has totally separated. Unfortunately, these things are really expensive, like a couple $100 I think, so I took it apart, and good news, the cable is actually replaceable, so I could just do that if I wanted, but honestly, I think I'm just gonna unplug it and just splice that one wire back together and put a little protective sheathing on this, and we should be hopefully good to go. Yay! Oh, you love to hear it. Okay, back to welding. Okay, while these are cooling down, I'm gonna finish welding the lower mounts. These are looking good. Now I'm gonna go stamp these with an L and an R so that whoever works on these in the future can easily tell which one goes where. That'll work. Okay, let's go get these buttoned up. Okay, so the brakes are working great, and I'm really happy with how they turned out. This front end is honestly just about done. I just need to get some handlebars figured out and a headlight, and then I'm ready to start building the custom frame for this thing. So follow our channel if you want to watch that, but either way, thanks for watching, and I hope this helps, and ride safe.